Bambolea, bambolea, porque mi vida yo la prefiero vivir así.
Well, I'm the art director, and in a simple explanation would be I start at the very beginning of the movie, you know, when storyboard starts, and basically my team will help basically draw and paint and design what the world's going to be. And with this movie in particular, we're lucky, we're fortunate because we have, you know, a wealth of material from Schultz in the comics. But still, with any movie, there's locations to be designed and places to go that aren't necessarily spelled out in the comic.
I'm an animation supervisor, and my job is to work between the director and the team of animators to help bring the director's vision to life. And that can start when it comes to the building the characters process, how they look, how they move, developing the style. And that also just works, also working with just a team of animators to help act and brainstorm out what the ideas are, the thought processes, and convey that back to the director.
Well, as the director of the film, I see my job as setting the direction. And that happens on a number of levels. You know, stylistically on the film, in terms of our animation style, the way we move the characters, the way we present this world. I'm a huge Peanuts fan, and so it was important to me that we create an experience that felt right as a fan. That the characters look good, that the world could come to life in a little bigger way. I feel like we're painting on a canvas that's bigger. It's a feature film in 2015, so I thought there was an opportunity to transport the audience into Charlie Brown and Snoopy's world.
If you really want to impress people, you need to show them you're a winner.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind.
Of course, when I say you know I don't mean you personally.
Fifi comes from the fact that Snoopy has this great fantasy world, this imagination. It's driven from what he sees with Charlie Brown, and in Charlie Brown's world, the little red-haired girl comes into his life for the first time. Well, of course, what we love with Snoopy, we love the flying ace, and so he will take on the persona of the flying ace in his fantasy, and like Charlie Brown, he meets the girl of his dreams, Fifi. She's a pilot, she loves a good root beer, she's a great mechanic, she's got these wonderful qualities, and she loves to laugh. She's like the perfect fit for Snoopy.
The biggest challenge was taking a 2D image, which is just black ink on a white piece of paper, and inflating that into a three-dimensional character. But at the same time, by introducing that new dimension, we're not changing who those characters are, because we really believe that these characters exist in that comic book world. And we didn't want to alienate any audiences from who those characters are to them. My Peanuts story is when I was about 5 years old. My parents gave me this little movie viewer for Christmas. And what you did was you put a little cartridge in and you click this little wheel and look through, and it would play a clip. And the clip that I had was Snoopy versus the Red Baron. And it was animated by Bill Littlejohn. And it was really my introduction to animation, because if you clicked fast, it played it like you would see on TV, but if you clicked just one click at a time, it was showing just one image at a time. And that was really where I realized it's like animation is just drawings, one after the next. And then I was hooked.
My most strong memory was seeing the Christmas special for the very first time. I was 7 years old. We all gathered around. It was a family event. And the story is so wonderful and so emotional at the end. I still hold that as a gold standard of storytelling, even now today as I look at the work that I do. So that was probably the strongest memory I have. And in particular, when Snoopy would do his happy dance, that was, to me, just pure joy.
My mom and dad saved lots of my old sketchbooks, because when I was a kid, you know, drawing was a hobby, probably like lots of young artists. And the first things I drew, really, the first sketchbooks I kept when I was maybe 5, 6, and 7 were filled with Peanut sketches. Like the holiday specials, of course, you know, were very prominent, you know, in my childhood experience, and I remembered those. And I also read the Sunday comics a lot too. with kids' eyes. You know, I loved Snoopy and I loved Woodstock and I loved the sort of relationship of Charlie Brown and Snoopy. So I had sketchbooks full of them going to sort of imaginative places. You know, Snoopy was great with sort of being that vehicle to sort of take off and go wherever he wanted to, you know, in his imagination. And so that was a great, you know, excuse for me to sort of draw like anything that I wanted to, as long as Charlie Brown and Snoopy were by each other's side.
Excuse me, sorry.
Charlie Brown, you blockhead!
Good boy.